want him to introduce anything? She just introduce herself.
This actually is our speaker, Marion.
Hi guys. My name is Christina Marion. To be perfectly honest with you all, I have a fear of public speaking. So the fact that I agreed to do this is me taking yet another leap of faith. I'm not allowing myself to be ruled by fear. Someone once told me that fear stands for false evidence appearing real. So I'll try to remember that as I'm standing in front of you all today. But then there was this time when I was in elementary school and someone told me when you're speaking in public to imagine the crowd is naked and it makes things less intimidating. Well, I tried that and it made the crowd even more scary. I will not be doing that at all today. I'd like to thank Kathy Thomas from United for Life for asking me to speak here today. It's a real honor. When she initially asked me, I was so nervous to speak in front of you all. I had no idea what to talk about. It actually took me weeks before I realized all I had to do was get in front of you guys and speak about my life. And it just so happens I'm an expert on that. You see, my husband Todd and I have 2 children. There he is. I jokingly refer to him as a tall glass of chocolate milk. So that's my guy. My husband Todd and I have 2 children, a 4-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. The kids are about 10 and a half months apart. And whenever we're out and about and running errands, we're constantly stopped by people who want to tell us about their children and or grandchildren. I could be delusional, but I think anyone with little ones know how that is. You're trying to get a bag of rice from the store and like all of a sudden 10 moms and grandmothers appear and they want to show you pictures of their kids and tell you stories. But what I usually tell people that we meet in our community is that our babies are my miracle babies. And that's because I gave birth to them. After 2 open heart surgeries and 12 rounds of chemotherapy. Wow. I know, a mouthful, right? You see, I have an autoimmune disorder called vascular sarcoidosis. Perhaps I spoke prematurely before when I said a mouthful. I won't at all be offended if you guys can't pronounce it. Most people can't. I guess blessings are strange like that sometimes. But when I was around 12 years old, I had my first open heart surgery. And shortly after, I started a difficult journey of chemo. You see, as my peers were perfecting their Macarena dance, I was dealing with all of the things that are chemotherapy. And amongst my peers, I became known as the girl with the scar. You see, after my surgery, I had this pretty long cut down the center of my chest. And girl with the scar isn't too bad because I had a classmate that was known as boy with the stinky feet. So girl with the scar was okay. At the age of 17, I had my second open heart surgery. And after that, my condition started to stabilize a bit, and I was able to live more of a normal so-called life. I went on to college, and that's where I met my husband, Todd. We graduated, and shortly after, we got married, and we were on cloud 9 when we met with my doctors to tell them that we wanted to have children. Well, they were blunt, and they told us the idea scared them. But what statement is supposed to be about a rug being pulled from under your feet is supposed to signify would not at all describe what we were hit with at the doctor's office when we met with a high-risk prenatal doctor. She laughed in our faces so hard that tears were literally coming down her eyes. I think the only reason she stopped is because my husband and I lost all the color in our face. And we're pretty dark, so you guys can imagine how shook we were. It was earth-shattering. Like when Thanos snapped his fingers in that Avengers film. I did not realize it at the time, but after that appointment, I fell into a depression. You see, I worked as a social worker at the time, and I was constantly surrounded by children, and normally I loved it, but work became more and more difficult when I had to play over and over in my mind what the specialist said, and that was I wouldn't be able to have children of my own. So it made being surrounded with children even more difficult. The term pro-life sounds a little intimidating to me. I'm not sure if I ascribe to that, but I would like to share with you guys why I chose to give my baby's life despite all of my doctors telling me to terminate my pregnancy. As I mentioned to you guys now know my medical condition, so you could imagine that I wasn't the ideal candidate to be pregnant. And the doctors told us that. One of the doctors even refused to see me after they found out that I was pregnant and had my husband and I escorted out of the office as if we did something worthy of being escorted out of an office for. Because my doctors were so frightened, during my pregnancy I spent several weeks on hospital bed rest. When I tell you guys that the experience was not at all glamorous, trust me. I felt like a pincushion, and it was intense to be in that hospital room day after day, week after week, month after month. Luckily, I didn't create any imaginary friends, but it was intense. I wasn't able to carry my daughter full term because my physicians were convinced that I would go into cardiac arrest or have another aneurysm. So I had my daughter prematurely, and she spent a few weeks in NICU, which was a whole nother bag of trials and tribulations for my husband. But thankfully, we got through it. And I'm proud to say that I have two amazingly beautiful babies, a son and a daughter.
Amen. Yes.
I lovingly refer to them as Thing 1 and Thing 2 from one of their favorite Dr. Seuss books. And I spend most of my day covered in Play-Doh and paint. I realize now, when I was working as a social worker, I felt like God was playing a cruel joke on me by having me surrounded by children. Now I realize he was not playing a joke on me, he was encouraging me. I'm not brave or strong. We all have fears. But I am so glad that despite my crazy circumstance, I was able to give my children a chance at life. To find out more about our story and our journey, you guys can check me out at agirlwithascar.com. Have a good day, guys. Thank you so